Welcome back, it's your boy Nathan, back at it again with another video. And before we get started, Happy New Year's. Hopefully you guys were able to use that time to spend it with your loved ones as well as your family. I've been wanting to make content around the R8, but unfortunately it's been raining for the last 2-3 weeks, so I haven't been able to take the car out, but it's finally sunny today. And you know what that means? That is the sound of magnetic paddle shifters. The one inside of the R8 just doesn't feel quite that well. It feels kind of squishy and the feedback for it just doesn't feel nice. I decided to buy some magnetic paddle shifters, and honestly I'm going to be doing this quite often because the feedback on these just feels so much better. Alright, before we get to the actual installation, I have a little confession to make. The paddle shifters that I got are not JQ Works Mad Trays. They're actually sourced from Amazon, and the supplier is just someone from overseas. While doing my research and prior to buying the actual paddle shifters, I noticed that a lot of people on the forum mentioned that just go ahead and skip the big name brands and just get them from overseas like AliExpress. So instead of paying $400 for a pair of magnetic paddle shifters, I paid only $100. And by no means am I knocking these big name companies. Obviously, if you get it from them, you're gonna get better warranty and better customer support. But for me personally, I didn't want to spend that much on magnetic paddle shifters. And overall, so far, looking at the quality of the actual paddle shifters, they're actually really good, and I probably won't be able to tell the difference between JQ Works and these ones. Okay, I'm inside the car right now. I kind of want to just show you guys what the stock paddle shifter sounds like, and trust me, it's not that great. Listen to this. They just don't really have a good feedback and feel to it. So the first thing that we have to do is disconnect the battery. I went ahead and did that already. All you really need is a 10mm box wrench, and it's at a very weird angle, so you have to make sure to just turn it. Once you have the negative terminal taken off, just make sure you have a piece of cardboard or something right there so it makes sure that the terminal doesn't touch the actual battery itself. In order to take off the airbag, what we need to do is get a pick like this and turn the steering wheel 90 degrees. There should be a little hole right here in the back for us to put the pick in and kind of try to knock the pin out. There's actually one on this side and then one on the opposite side. So there's two springs that we have to release in order to get the airbags to come out. So just be careful when you remove the airbags. There are lots of wires behind here that you don't want to tug or rip apart. So just be careful. Gently just lift it up, take it out, and you can expose the wires. There's going to be one connector right here that we're going to go ahead and use our pick to essentially pull out and disconnect. And the wires actually go along these little clips as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So once you have this connector removed, the top one and the bottom one are essentially just pressure fit. So you just gotta yank it out. There you go. And this one as well. There you go. So now that we have the airbag removed, there are 3 T20 screws that we have to remove. There are going to be springs right behind it, so just be careful. Let's go ahead and remove that. And then we're going to have the ground wire. Go ahead and just remove that. And just make sure you don't lose these little springs right here. So now that we have everything removed, there are 4 T10s that we have to remove, and this will allow us to be able to pry out the steering wheel controls so that way we could get access to the actual paddle shifters themselves. Just be careful, there should be some wires connecting right behind the actual steering controls to the actual paddles, and those are very delicate wires, so we don't want to pull them, but we'll get there when we go to the next step. So let's go ahead and remove these 4 T10s. So now that we got that removed, we should be able to just gently pull right here, from top and the bottom, and just try to pop the actual control panels out of the steering column itself. You could use a pry tool to kind of pry the edges. For me, I don't want to damage any of the plastics on the actual steering wheel, so I'm going to go ahead and just gently tug them and see if I could remove them from the actual clips. So now with the actual controls removed, it was quite difficult to take it out, but just be patient. Just try from different angles, different areas, top, bottom, left, right, and just keep getting it out. As you can see, there are wires right here, so just be gentle with it. What we're going to need to do now is just remove these little connectors on the actual shifter panels, and then we'll be able to swap them out. So let's go ahead and remove that. What we could use is our little pick tool. There you go. After we remove the actual controls, all we need to do now is use a T10 and just remove these paddle shifters. And they should come right off. There you go. One paddle shifter down. Let's go ahead and put the actual magnetic shifters on here and kind of see a before and after. There you go. Now that we have the aftermarket ones on, let's hear the difference. So much more satisfying. I know that was a short clip, but I realized that it's pretty hard to hold the camera and shift the gears at the same time. So I need to think of a better solution in the future. Maybe getting a camera mount for my camera inside of the car. I was able to test all of the features such as upshift, downshift, holding both paddles in to put it into neutral, and long pressing either the upshift or downshift to bring it into the correct gear. And I'm happy to say that everything works. Also, something I realized while driving the car is that now, because of the sound that the magnetic paddle shifters make and the feel and the feedback that I get from it, it makes the ride way more engaging and fun. So I'm pretty excited to drive the R8 now with those new paddle shifters. Hopefully you guys learned something today and go out and install your own magnetic paddle shifters. If you're not part of this crew yet, then what are you waiting for? Hit that like button, drop a comment, smash that subscribe. Other than that, peace.